Good morning, Solaris 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Season 2 of Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Geoff. Good evening and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Uncivil Discourse.
That's right, folks. We are back. Back again, starting off the year great with playoffs for our Calgary Battletech Season 2.
Round 1 is behind us, and this Sunday we'll be going into Round 2. Half the teams have been eliminated, and it's been getting pretty exciting so far. So we'll now see who gets to make the final round.
Special announcement! Yes! The Merrick Lance, our wonderfully painted house Merrick Lance, was redrawn last week for Rambletech. And the winner is... David Wimbush. Please reach out and send us an email at Calgary Battletech League at gmail.com so we can look at sending you that amazing prize. Hope to hear from you soon.
Okay. So, 2 weeks ago was round 1 of the playoffs. Okay. So, we had half the teams make it and half the teams didn't. That's how this thing works, right? Starting off with B-side, round 1.
Did you just totally go Valley Girl on us? Because that's what it sounds like, Brett.
Gag me with a spoon.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry. OMG.
No, I was trying to do Joe Pesci from Lethal Weapon, but apparently I'm bad at it.
We are not actors in any way, shape, or form.
I acted acting.
Anyways, folks, all 4 B-side games are played on the Grasslands C side of the Neoprene map. Something not in rotation during the regular season. Just add a little flair to each of the playoff games and make it even, so that nobody has a certain advantage on playing something from the season, and they didn't know what map was coming up.
Additionally to that, you can't say that, I might have beat that team if I was on the map that you had, because everybody plays the same maps.
Yep.
Our first matchup has seen the 9th place Red Suns Irregulars face off against the 16th place Vandals Valkyries. This game was a 1-1 victory for the Red Suns, based on mechs in forced withdrawal. A good scrap between these two stables.
Yeah, I agree that it's one of the few games, if the only game, that fell into the forced withdrawal that we were talking about, Brett, being very important for the season. Vandals Valkyries had a decent game. They just couldn't get any luck. They dumped 3 or 4 Gauss Rifle rounds into the Thunderbolt and couldn't drop it. You think they'd pair up somewhere and go internal. But yeah, he was not having any luck. And overall, his Thunder Chicken just kept flopping back and forth and back and forth. And this is why I didn't call him to win. His luck with dice just collapses so horrendously bad.
That's unfortunate that his dice luck all season have been horrendous to him. I was really looking forward to great things coming from Chris on especially switching over to that Thunder Chicken, right? It was such a nice change from the the Ultra 20s on his
Ultra 20, LB 20, the Night Star.
Yes, yeah.
The Night Star, right? Not the King Crab. Pretty much the King Crab, but not the King Crab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a nice. I think it was a nice change because it gave him some longer range weaponry, which I think he needed.
For a guy that's always missing his piloting skill rules by 1, I almost expect him to auto take piloting on all of his mechs, or at least on 2 of them.
He needs quads. We need Chris to do an entire quad lance.
No, 2 quads and then 2 mechs with piloting.
Yeah, sure.
Quads with piloting.
Never fails. Never fails.
No, but it was, congrats to Gary for the victory, and apparently he didn't jam enough racks on that one.
It's not always about the jam. Game number 2. In 10th place, the Blitzkrieg Jezebels face off against the 15th rank Odin Stormriders. This was the last game to wrap up on game day, and it sees the Odin Storm Riders with a 1-0 victory win just at the last minute. Ended up taking out one of the Blitzkrieg's mechs so that we didn't have to try and force withdrawal to figure out what this 0-0 would have ended up being. But these two teams just could not kill anything until the last moment.
I had a look at Heather's mechs, and they were pretty badly damaged, like really badly damaged. And then I had a look at Will's, and his Hatamoto had no arms, no torsos, except for the center torso. But everything else was still in good condition, so it could potentially still stand up, so it wasn't a dead mech. I looked at his Atlas that had taken a little smattering of damage. His Archer was completely pristine. And I believe it was his Wolverine. His Wolverine was just held together with baling twine. So if Heather had had a couple of good shots on the Hatamoto, because I think she might even have been internal on the center torso, she could have killed it. And the Wolverine, if it had just been a little bit more directed fire at it, could have been dead as well. It was just a great game of two people trying to position and do damage, and it just didn't turn out that anything died right until the very end.
Yeah, I think I remember Heather saying that if she just concentrated fire a few more times better, she would have had a better chance. But both teams just land-base each other in certain mechs, and Odin Storm Riders just had the better shots in the end on a couple things, so they come away with the win, the 1-0 win.
Game number 3, the 11th placed Mass Destruction meet up with Parker's Pathfinders in round 1. In one of our faster games today, the experience of both players showing. Lee, tell us how this went down in a burning ring of fire.
It actually went really well for both sides. The first few rounds was a lot of jostling, but about round 4, Chris sent his Centurion out by itself, and I just got locked in on it. He doesn't have any ECM in his lance, so he couldn't shut down my C3I at all. So his Centurion just got hammered from all directions. That in itself wasn't really the telling factor. It was actually later on, after he really picked on my Archer and was hammering it really hard, his Night Star was just out of position. It was 24 hexes to 2 of my mechs, and the other guys were using hills as cover. He just couldn't get into position to shoot without having to move, which his Night Star doesn't like to do. And I just kind of hid all my mechs up against level 2 hills, and where I could still see his other 3, and just joining fire back and forth. The real turning point was the round my Archer went down. I was pretty much ready to take on one of his mechs, and I believe I killed his Grasshopper. His Grasshopper. And that's when everything just turned around on him. Like, it got ugly real fast. His mech started getting really hammered. At that point, his shots, he was really trying to focus on killing my Salamander, which was so far back, he wasn't really being threatened by anything other than his remaining mechs. Like, his Night Star was pretty much out of it for most of the game. A lot of fun. Chris played a great game, and I was really nervous until that second mech went down.
Yeah, once you lose a zombie, things start to go downhill.
Yeah, that's it's tough once once you start losing stuff like that. The lack of firepower certainly hurts, right? In the end,
and the fact that he couldn't shut down my C3I really hurt him there, because it was just free picking for me. As long as I could get line of sight and keep his Night Star out of the gunning, I was kind of picking him apart.
Yeah, that's that's one of the last upgrades I did to one of my mechs was throw an ECM on it, just on the off chance.
Yeah, just one. Even if it doesn't block out the C3I or the C3, it at least stops the Artemis systems.
Mean old Lee just taking a beating to him.
Hey, you guys said that I wasn't even going to be able to place in B, so I got to do something to at least make the second round.
Game number 4. Oh, so for those that are wondering, the actual score for that, Lee, was
4-1.
Game number 4, 12th place, Donru Tiger Slayers face the Doom Buds. LRM versus MRM. Who is the stronger missile? In this case, the Highlander, pumping a gauze rifle round through the cockpit of the Battlemaster early in the match. I think it was about round 5, and it was all downhill for the Tiger Slayers from there. 4-1, Doom Buds move on to round 2.
That really was unfortunate for Brandon. I thought this match was going to be a lot closer. That gauze rifle punching out the cockpit of the command coach, not good. Now the master's down and the rest of the slaves aren't linked. And Brandon and Alex and I have become very dependent upon the range benefits of those techs. So once they're knocked out early, it's very difficult to come back from that. Way to go, Alex. Good luck in round 2. And sorry to hear about that, Brandon. And look forward to seeing you playing somebody you haven't against this year.
Yeah, a lucky headshot taking out the C3 master is, especially early in the game, that's a huge blow, right? That's almost worse than coming up against like multiple ECMs. Well, it is worse. You lose the firepower of the battle master, and you're no hope of getting anything with a C3. So that's some bad luck there. But great job, Alex, on the win. And yeah, like Lee said, Brandon, congratulations on doing very well for your first season in the league. And here's hoping to see you for next season. So as we did with the B side, all the A side players also played on the same map for game day for playoffs round 1. All of this one was the A side for Grasslands A on the neoprene mats, which really the neoprene mats are phenomenal maps. They look really, really good, and they're that much more fun to play on. So because who really wants to play the same maps from League when you can play new ones?
Game number 5, the first place Abishai's Avengers against the 8th place B-side Brawlers. These teams did not face off against each other in regular season. Starting off strong, the B-side Brawlers take the head off the Abishai's Awesome. But then the wheels fall off the bus, and this game finishes 4-1, Avengers victory. Bye-bye, B-side.
Like, whoa. Maybe they should have just stayed in their lane. B-side is where it's at. Well, or maybe not, Congratulations, Aaron, for making it to the A-side playoffs this year. Each year, a little bit more growth on your part, and by season 4, season 5, maybe you will be in first place and winning everything.
Now, did you say that with a straight face, Lee?
I'm being nice. His playoffs dreams are over. I don't need to keep rubbing it in.
I mean, if he stayed B-side, yours would have been over.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. Very true. No, that's. I was expecting a little more bloodshed, right? But apparently the B-side Brawlers just had enough of fighting and just gave up. So
clearly, it's the new baby that's been keeping him up. I'm sleep deprived. Oh no!
I'm pretty sure that's the excuse we heard from the pilots, right? Is that they're all sleep deprived from all the crying going on.
I think there's not a whole lot of crying. From what I understand, it's a pretty good youngin'.
Oh, I didn't mean the kid was crying.
Oh yeah, Aaron maybe.
Weeping. Hey, and don't forget, Max, great job in your first season to get to the second round of the A-side playoffs. Way to go, and we're really excited to see what you do in the next round.
No, yeah, exactly. That's great job, Max, for being, making it so far in your first season.
Game number 6, second place Riston's Rogues versus 7th place Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates. Another matchup where the teams missed each other during the regular season. Geoff, tell us a story of woe and pain, or at least destruction and glory.
It was a good game. It lasted, 23 or 24 turns. And it was, the first mech didn't fall until turn 8. So there was some good stuff on both sides, right? I took out his Banshee. I broke through the armor on the leg, and then the floating crit turned out to be the critical chance turned out to be a 12, blowing off the leg, which then of course knocked that over, and then eventually just taking the head off with a ghost rifle round while it was laying on the ground. In fair turn play, his gunslinger took the head off my Cerberus, which had taken very little damage with a ghost rifle round. And then it was just kind of a slogfest between my Grasshopper and Banshee with the Wraith my Night Sky jumping around versus Gunslinger and Marauder with his Shadowhawk. And, taking down the Cerberus and the Marauder, both the tough way, right? Chewing through stuff. And in the end, on both those mechs, getting into the center torso and destroying the gyro to take those both out in the final end there. He beat the hell out of my Banshee. And in fact, he was stripped the entire center torso of my Grasshopper, but wasn't able to finish it off, which was lucky me. He even did some good shots on my Night Sky, which took an engine hit and all that fun stuff. But in the end, it came down to I was able to concentrate firepower better, and it came down to my 3 mechs versus just his Shadowhawk, and in the end, managed to take it out. But it was a good game. Yeah, it was a good game from both sides. His dice were not the greatest that day, and my dice were definitely running hotter than they have been all season. I can freely say that was definitely hotter than all season. In fact, his Shadowhawk, he fired 2 bins of his ammo for that LRM 20 that's on it, and hit once with each bin. So the entire match. So it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage left on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about this, we kind of predicted that. I predicted that you wouldn't win, but it's a tough match in playoffs. Like, it's difficult. For one thing, like, your dice wakes up usually during the playoffs, Geoff. Like, you usually have some pretty good run in the playoffs. And Galen just had his downside, right? Like I said, when I was making my prediction, he comes up and down and kind of bounces around. And unfortunately, this was one of his downside games.
Yeah, I would say I won probably 85% of the initiatives also. If not slightly more, like 90% of the initiatives.
Yeah, when the balance is so much in your direction, it's really difficult to lose.
Yeah, it is. It was a really good game, though. I thoroughly enjoyed playing Galen for the first time then.
Game number 7, we see the 3rd place 2nd St. Ives Janissaries up against the 6th place Condos Janissaries. Who really is the better Capellan state? Turns out it's the Capellans. And the St. Ives team left for a reason. Now, I called this. Knew JP was going to beat me down before we even sat down at the table, because this game matters. But it's a 4-0 victory for JP. I went down like a sack full of hammers.
I'm stunned. Like, there's calling it, and then there's calling it. Like, you knew what was about to happen. I really think that your Lance was probably the one to beat. Not because of just overwhelming firepower. It's just how dirty that Atlas could play. And never miss as well with the skills you took. JP's a great player. There's a reason why he's a 2-time champion. But
I lost my Marauder too in like round 4 to a head cap.
Yeah, it'll do it.
And then the Atlas went down, and then from there it was just like, okay, I can't really come back from this.
Yeah, when you're down to your just 2 mediums, basically. Yeah. Yeah, no, JP played a great game from everything you said and everything I heard. I was so surprised when you guys were packing things up. I'm like, that game looked close. What happened? And then all of a sudden, you're just done.
Yeah, the Marauder took 29 points of damage, 17 of it to the head.
That's pretty rough.
It kind of like my game with you, Geoff.
I was not expecting you to lose on a 4-0 there. I thought you would have at least killed 1 or 2 mechs.
I was fully expecting it to be a 4-2 victory and to go in JP's hands. I just wasn't expecting a 0-4 and away we go, and yeah, let's go have beer.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough game. Oh, how did your Atlas die?
Massed firepower for like 4 turns, 5 turns.
So it wasn't a cascading ammo explosion?
Nope, not this time.
Oh, final game of the season that matters, and you don't. Sochowski?
Right? I missed my hat trick.
Yeah, that's the one game it doesn't decide to not kill itself, right?
Game number 8, we have the 4th place Kell's Keshik versus the 5th place War Club in what had to be the bloodiest game all season. literally coming down to a half-dead Marauder, getting the right shot off at the right place in the last round. This game ends 4-3 for Kell's Keshik, moving on to round 2.
I said this was going to be probably the best game of the week. A-side especially, I know the B-side had a really good game with Alex and Brandon. This was amazing. Like, it was just back and forth and back and forth. Geoff had to come back from behind. The Kell's Keshik's commander had to come back from behind. He was losing and had to come back to win this one.
Yeah, that's crazy. That and I believe the Marauder was so close to dying, right? That it was just pure chance that he managed to squeak this out.
And then they bring to our attention that if it had been a 4-4, how do we calculate death? Like the forced withdrawal. We'd have been counting dots.
We would have, yeah. Yeah, we would have literally been counting armor dots.
What an amazing game.
Although it probably would have been faster to count how many armor dots aren't filled in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the mech sheets all show that this slot has 23 and this slot has 24 and that slot has 18, so you just count what's left.
Hey, I found a rivet.
Yeah. Oh, 1 point here, 1 point here.
Now, just because a team didn't make it into A or B side playoffs does not mean they don't get games anymore. We want to do our best to make sure everyone who signs up gets a full 13 games each season, including the games we play in between seasons and the games we do, some of the fun games we play outside of League. As such, the teams that didn't make it have had the chance to have a go at each other. Game number 9, we'll have Thumper's Revenge up against the Flying Tigers. They're previewing a map that we'd be adding into our rotation next year, the Radis River Delta from the Tukiad map set. We actually don't have a recorded score for this game, but we do know they had a lot of fun and made many notes were taken regarding the map. And it was true play testing. They did a lot of really weird things just to see what would happen. So it's going to be fun to introduce this because it's going to change the way we play.
I thought we already had the Radis River Delta in. Wasn't it one of the other Tukiad maps?
I think we might have named it that, but this is the one with the raging river, the unstable rubble.
Oh, this isn't Radis River Delta. This was actually the Falcon Guards Crossing map. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay, so you hear this, people? I did not write that. I read what he told me to read. Not my fault.
This is why I called it out.
Robin's Crossing. That's what it is. It's Robin's Crossing.
Okay, there we go. Robin's Crossing.
That's a brutal map, by the way.
It is. That unstable rubble is not fun at all.
Out of all the maps we've used in League, this is I think the one where I don't normally care what map we play on, and I don't really care what side I get when it comes to anything. I believe this is the only map that we're looking at adding out of all of the maps we currently have and the custom maps that I'm like, no, I'll just take default, man.
This is a pretty map, but if you get the side where you can't actually deploy all of your mechs on ground on one side, you are hosed.
So
you're either
bribery
starting in
actually
the water or you're starting split.
Yeah. It's one where bribery might actually matter. I'm taking this side. Good luck over there.
The rest of our players had other commitments this week, so that wraps up all of our games that were played.
Oh man, look at the scores. 6 of the 8 playoff games decisively scored with a 4-something victory. And 5 of them being either 4-1 or 4-0, and 1 game of 4-3. So much destruction. The techs are not happy with having to clean up the fields, and it is absolutely glorious because, everybody likes carnage.
Except for Venom.
Well, Spider-Man's not a big fan of him either.
And now, for something a little different, we bring you Heather and the interview of the week.
All right, so we have Geoff here, and he just won his match. Woohoo!
Yay!
So you're going on. How did your game go?
It was really rough, actually. Calvin's an amazing player. He had me at the start of the game for sure. He was hitting those high numbers. I couldn't hit nothing. And then I had one round where things really turned everything around. I managed to take out his awesome faster than he was expecting. And we also got his dragon on the same turn, which even put me to a 3-2 advantage because he had already taken out my Wraith.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just kind of a back and forth for the next little while. The Devastator and the King Crab went toe to toe. King Crab lost an arm, lost his UAC. So he lost both of his big guns. So he's sitting there with an ER large and an LRM-10 just trying to hold out. But we ended up taking the Devastator out with engine hits. And then it went down to his Night Sky, who chased me around the board for the rest of the game. We went 20 rounds in total.
Holy!
And the very end of it was the Night Sky got in behind my Marauder. Marauder turned with one arm, shot at him, and managed to get 2 engine crits, and he already had one on the Night Sky. So, and then when his firing back, he did 2 engine crits to me, one on my left torso and one on my center torso. So it was almost a double cord mech at the end, which I know we're not supposed to have ties. I'd really like to know how that one would have got resolved.
Yeah, well, that's what I was looking at. Before I came out, I thought my Marauder was dead, but he's not. So I was like, oh, geez. So maybe I'll be able to finish it off. So what did you think of League this year, considering it was your first year?
Loved it.
Yeah?
It's been fun. I love Battletech. I've been playing Battletech since I was 10 years old.
So you're like Lee.
Yeah.
This is a lifetime thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I came out here many years ago. I met JP, and JP told me about League.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'll check that out someday. And it took me, I think it was 14 years after he told me to finally check it out. So
that would, yeah. We played League one year. I played League. And I lost to Brett in the semi-finals. I DFA'd, and I was not successful. And then last year, and this year, but it was nice having you here, and I know you're looking forward to come back next year. And
absolutely.
We're looking forward to having you.
My buddy Jay says he's going to come back.
Sweet!
And, my buddy Scott, who came in and played one round,
nice.
He's saying that he wants to join next year too, so
cool.
That should be good.
Hopefully we'll maybe have some a little bit more difference. I know they're talking about maybe things like clan or maybe add some objectives. I don't know. I think there's some differences, but it'll be nice.
It'll be neat. It'll be neat to see what they come up with for next year for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And good luck in your next game. Do you know who it's again yet?
Jeff.
Ooh,
there's the double
Jeff first, Jeff Papa.
So the safe bet on that one is a Jeff's going to win.
Jeff.
Yeah, just say a Jeff's going to win and nobody can lose.
Well, we'll have to see. Laura and I'll do our predictions and we'll see where that comes up with.
Awesome.
Well, thanks and good luck in 2 weeks, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Heather. That is a great interview. Look forward to hearing more from you as the rest of the playoffs continue. Now, this will lead us into the round 2 matches, with 4 teams remaining in each division. Game number 1, we have the Abishai's Avengers facing off against, and again, Kondo's Janissaries. I think this might have been Abishai's Avengers' only loss in the regular season. Was up against JP.
I believe so, yep.
I think this is going to be Max's chance to get revenge. And with how both these teams played, I can't even almost regard your game against him, Brett, to show how JP's playing right now. Abishai's Avengers are still showing a lot of momentum. I'm actually going to call Abishai's Avengers. It's going to be a 3-2.
All right. Well, the last time these two teams faced off against each other, Kondo's Janissaries walked away with a 4-0 victory. When Kondo's played me, he walked away with a 4-0 victory. So, mind you, when he played Max, it was on a custom arena, and Max has avoided our custom arenas like the plague since then. I think this is going to be a repeat offense here, though. Second time in the penalty box, but Kondo's going to walk out and pull a 4-2 victory this time.
Yeah, Kondo's won the first one, but if I remember correctly, it was hot dice, right? Like the dice were certainly in his favor for that first match. So we'll see maybe if that continues. I I do think the Condos Janissaries are going to pull out the win in the end, but I think it's going to be like it's going to be bloody. I'm saying a 4-3 for Condos.
Game number 2, we have Riston's Rogues facing off against the Kell's Keshiks. They're just going to determine which is the correct spelling. Also, to see who goes to the finals. That one I actually got, Brett. Thank you. That was good. I got it halfway through the line, but I got it.
For those that don't know, both myself and the stable commander for Kell's Keshik are named Geoff.
If you gotta explain a joke, man, it stops being funny.
Yeah, but they don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. They don't know what the hell we're talking about half the time anyways, so...
We don't know what we're talking about half the time.
That's entirely true. So, yes, it is the Battle of the Geoffs.
Geoff.
Am I pissing you off?
So, my opinion on this game... I wish I could say that you're going to win, Geoff, like, just because you're one of the commentators.
It's too late to suck up now, dude.
But the Keshiks are really good.
That horse has left the stable.
I'm going to say you're going to win, Geoff. I'm going to say the Riston's Rogues are going to end the Keshiks run. And I'm going to say it is going to be a 4-2.
Man, I love a good throwdown game. Both teams lace up the gloves for this match. It's going to be another high kill count. I do think Kells can pull off a back-to-back win, though. No, I don't. I don't actually. I think Riston's is going to move on to the next round with a 4-3 final score.
Well, I can confidently call this one with 100% accuracy right now. All right, so
Jeff's gonna win. Okay,
yes, Geoff will win this match, and it's going to be a no. So, anyways, I played Kell's Keshik with starter lances or made lances for just testing purposes before the season, and he is an extremely good player, and I think I lost that game that we played for the testing, but I'm actually not nervous, I would say, but I don't have the best feeling for if I'm going to win this one or not. So I'm going to go with myself, because if you can't vote for yourself, who are you going to vote for, right? But I think it's going to be it's definitely going to be a high turn game. So I think it's going to be a 4-something. It's 4. I think Brett might almost be right with a 4-3.
Occasionally I'm right.
Careful, you're going to inflate his head there. Game number 3. Looking back at the B-side division, we have the highly rated Red Suns Irregulars. They're matched up against the much maligned Mass Destruction. I've got to say, it's my team. I got to vote for it. Mass Destruction's going to win because I think I have a range advantage, especially with my C3I giving me the range advantage, but I think I have more long-range weapons than he does. I'm going to say I'm going to win it with a 3-2.
Get good, scrub. These teams dodged each other during the regular season. I don't remember if you faced off last year, but Gary is having a hell of a good season this year. Apparently, denying his mech warriors any kind of recreational activities has worked. I do think your improved C3 network and his perchance to jam his racks will make the difference, though, and let you move on to Finals Lee. 3-2 final score here.
Yeah, and we've never played against each other. I think we wanted to play a fun game last season, but I don't even think we got to do that.
Oh, well, at least you get to play somebody that we didn't know 2.5 years ago.
That's quite a few people in the league, dude.
That's very true.
I want 6 spins at all ranges from Gary for all rack firing.
Feed the need.
I know he's not going to do that, though, so...
Tape the triggers and pray.
Tape the triggers and pray. Yeah, he doesn't have enough ammo for that, sir. Even if he didn't jam them every time, that's what he's gonna get, like 6 turns of fire out of them.
I know that's a lot of shots, though.
Yeah, it is a lot of shots. Yeah. Gary has been having such a good season, and if I could just be like, haha, Lee's gonna lose, that would also amuse me. But I do not think Lee is going to lose this one. I do think Mass Destruction is going to win. But I think it's going to be a 4-2. Yeah, I think 4-2.
Yeah, it's hard to even cheer for myself on this one. I like Gary. I like his team. I like how he plays.
Here's the question. How much ECM does Gary have?
I believe he has at least 1, maybe 2, but I have 2 big Octoprobes.
For sure he's got it on the Thunderbolt. I don't think... Okay, so the Rifleman doesn't have it, and the Phoenix Hawk doesn't have it, and I don't think when putting the targeting computer into the Banshee there was any room for ECM. So I'm going to say he's got 1 on the Thunderbolt.
Yeah, but for you to get close enough to shut down that ECM, though, that means you got to get close enough for him to put
You're in
racks
rack range.
Yeah, so...
Well, I don't have to... But the big thing about it is that just has to be priority number 1. That next got to go. It's not that fast. So
it's true. No, it's very true.
If he wants to run it up to me, that's okay, whatever. But he'll eat missiles every step of the way.
He just needs more anti-missile systems then, you know?
True.
Last minute changes, all his mechs get a single anti-missile system.
Game number 4, we have Odin's Storm Riders up against the Doom Buds. Will had a really good slog against Heather, showing just exactly how well his mechs can survive the storm. His mechs were pretty badly beaten up, other than the Archer, and we're still standing. So Alex has all the fun tech, like he has all the highest possible tech. I'm gonna say I was talking to Alex earlier today, and I agree with some of his assessments on how he plans on playing it. I'm gonna say the Doom Buds are gonna win, and it's going to be a 2-1.
I want to see a rematch of the improved C3 networks, and my son is helming the Doombud stable. He has grown a lot in his second season here. I have high hopes he will go to the finals. He can dish a whole lot of punishment with that lance that he's got going on. He's got a season underneath him where he's experienced a lot of growth, and he really knows how to make that stable just get the most out of it. So I predict this is going to be a 3-1 Doombuds win.
Well, of course you have to go with your son, right? Like, you can't not. But no, that's not true. Alex has done very well this season. It's quite the improvement over last season, and he has been putting the C3 to excellent use. Now I don't know, what does Will have for ECM?
A 1.
Pretty sure he's lacking.
No, he has 1.
Yeah, I think he
he's
does
got
only
one.
have the 1. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think it's going to be a Doombuds victory, but I think Lee is right. I think it's going to be a 2-1. I think it's going to be, there's not going to be a whole lot of turns in on this one, but I think 2-1 is a fair call for this one. And good luck, Alex and Will.
Now, for the rest of the players who didn't make playoffs or were eliminated round 1, we make a special effort to match people up as best we can with opponents they did not see in regular season, or if they've come back from first season, if they've missed somebody out on both seasons, we make extra special effort to try and match them up. Now, starting with 22 teams and having a 10-game season means people only play about half of the other players. So we do what we can to make sure everybody has fun.
Game number 5, on whatever totally random map they want to play, we have the Donner Tire Slayers playing up against Parker's Pathfinders. 2 teams that quite enjoy the nuances of the way League is going this year and have really shown good growth throughout the season. Donner Tire Slayers C3 system up against Parker's Pathfinder, who played me last round against my C3I. I think he's looking for a little bit of revenge on that, but without ECM, he's going to fall prey to Brandon's mechs. I'm going to say it's going to be the Donru Tiger Slayers that are going to win that one, and it's going to be another 4-2 game.
Now, Parker's Pathfinders has a lot of range potential with the Night Star and the Clan ERPPC on the Grasshopper. So he can play a game with it, but he's going to have to close. He can't be letting Brandon run the field and have whatever range brackets he wants to. He's going to have to just push it up. And if everybody's at 5 hexes, well, it doesn't matter if you've got a network or not. That being said, Brandon's a really strategic player. I'm pretty impressed with him. I think it's going to end up being a 3-2 Donru Tiger Slayers victory.
Yeah, Chris coming off last season has done really well, and he's leaps and bounds above how well he was playing last year. Brandon, on the other hand, has been doing extremely well also for his first time in League, and was so close to making a side, right? Like, wasn't it you three, Lee? Brandon and Aaron that were like in the running on the edge of to see who was going to be an A?
Yeah, absolutely. He was right in there. It would have been a little bit harder for him to get in than I think. I think the scores had to be right. But he was right in there. And for first season, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh man, I think this is just because we can't all agree, because that would be even though we all agree for. No, I think it's going to be I'm going to say Chris is going to do some stuff here, and we're going to see Parker's Pathfinders win with a 3-2.
Well, it is a non-league scheduled game, so they could just go and do random fun stuff.
That's true, right? Yeah, there's nothing saying they have to play it exactly like a league thing, right? So
they're just matched up. They're not necessarily competing for placings because that's all set now.
Game number 6 had some scheduling problems 2 weeks ago. Hopefully that'll be rectified now, because we hope the Lords of the Underworld and the Blood of Ashir will get to play each other. Andrew and Jay are both great players, great opponents, and great people. Fun to sit across the table from. Amazingly intuitive on what to do, because neither of them have a lot of Battletech experience. I really hope Andrew wins. Blood of Ashir, I'd like to see them win. And I know this was kind of the repeat of the game that was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure I said he was going to win that one. I'm going to still go with Blood of Ashir are going to win with a 3-2.
Yeah, this is the game that we're looking for some Timmy action out of that Berserker. We'll see how that goes. 4-1 Timmy all the way. Lords of the Underworld, I think, is going to pull this out. I think it's going to be probably a 3-2. But let's wait and see what Timmy can do.
Oh, now he's rhyming. Oh. Anyways, outside of the bad rhyming from Brett over there,
wasn't even trying.
It shows. Both these players have been great players this season. Their attitude has been exemplary, and it'll be a fun match, I think, between the two of them. Hopefully they do get to play. I do see Jay taking the win on this one, though. Sorry, Andrew. So yeah, I think it's going to be a Lords of the Underworld win with a 2-1.
I believe in you, Andrew. You can do it, buddy. You beat me at the very beginning. You can do it now.
You threw the match and everybody knows it.
Game number 7. The Tin Man's Tin Cans. They take aim at the B-side brawlers. I'm just saying I've never seen a bee sting a tin can, but I've seen quite a few die inside them before. We're not talking about the B-side brawlers being inside the tin cans. No, we're not going there. On that note,
You're the only one that made it weird, sir.
I'm not going there. Anyway, the B-side brawlers are an A-side team. There's no, you can't say it any other way. And the Tin Cans have not had the best season, but they definitely showed some signs of life and good play. I'm going to say the B-side brawlers are going to win. They're going to take some losses. I think it's going to be a 3-2. And hopefully that Archer dies early. It actually might give the Tin Cans a chance.
Oh, I don't know how I want to call this. I would love to see the Tin Cans just run some hot dice and pick up like all the B-side brawlers mechs and just be like, well, I painted these. I guess I get to take these home now too. But I think B-side is too good of a player for that. I think this is going to be a 4-1 B-side brawlers game where he just takes no sympathy on Justin and he beats him like a redheaded stepchild.
You know, we could make Tin Man's dice run hot, right? You know, there are dice you can buy for that. We don't condone that by any means. That would get you kicked out of the league so fast.
Yeah.
No, I think you are correct, Brett, that the B-side brawlers are definitely an A-side team. You know, even if they were the last place at A-side, they're still an A-side team. And the Tin Mans have not had the greatest seasons. And I really want the Tin Cans to win. So unless the B-side brawlers just goes and starts doing DFAs everywhere, I don't see that happening. So yeah, I think B-side brawlers win with a 4-2.
Game number 8, and probably one of our more important games of the week, just for everybody's attention gathering. Our ladies sit down and throw down as Thumper's Revenge and Blitzkrieg Jezebels match up. Oh, I don't know how to call this. Brutal.
Well, Lee, just go get the couch ready.
I've got to go Blitzkrieg Jezebels in this first matchup. I think it's the first time the two of them have ever played. And it's not because she's my wife. I think it's because I think she really needs to win. I think she's going to be aggressive, and I know her and Laura both know how to play the game fast enough that she won't get frustrated. So yeah, I think Blitzkrieg Jezebels are going to win, and it's going to be a 3-2.
I do agree with you that I think this is going to be one of the games with the most turns for both of these ladies this year. I would not be surprised if it goes 18 rounds. I think it's going to be a good time. I think they're going to have a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be 3-2 Thumper's Revenge. Unless they get distracted and just have lost in the day, then it might only go like 10 rounds and it could be a 2-2 tie.
So what you're saying is if they get lost in a gab fest, then it's all over.
Okay, so admittedly, all of us can get distracted and lost when talking Battletech.
Mm-hmm.
We have a whole show about that.
We actually have 2 shows, sir, about that.
Every Ramble Tech is
all
about
rambling.
I was going to say Ramble. We have an entire show that is just dedicated to not paying attention.
Yep. No, I think both ladies are looking forward to playing each other in this one. But I do think we are going to see a Thumper's Revenge win here. I think the previous seasons that Laura has over Heather's last season and this season, the experience is just going to be that little bit much more. So I do think Thumper's Revenge is going to win. I'm going to go on they're going to get distracted with gossiping with each other about stuff and all of us and talking shit about all of us. So I think it's going to be
on the boys.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a 2-1 for Thumper's Revenge. So prove me wrong. Then all I just say is don't bash us too badly.
Yeah, that was rough. And now we've got them doing their own predictions, so we're going to hear about it faster than we thought. Game number 9, we have Vandals Valkyries playing off against the Flying Tigers. And actually, now that I'm seeing this, I'm really excited about this game. Pretty much any game that Paul's playing against someone who hasn't played him before or hasn't played him in forever, which this year was everybody, I'm just excited because I know Paul's fun to play against. Vandals Valkyries,
and he's wacky.
Yeah, he just throws you for a loop. Like I said, he shot me through a little pinhole. And there's no pinholes in Battletech, and it just happened to line up perfectly. When I played him this season, it was just totally wacky. Vandals Valkyries have not had much luck this season. They were the last team to make the B-side playoffs. They had to make a win up against JP, so that's pretty huge. They just haven't had much luck. Things just aren't rolling their way this season. If his dice are average, he will beat the Flying Tigers. But I don't think his dice are going to be average. So I'm going to go Flying Tigers, and it's going to be I'm going to say 3-3 tie with them winning with the forced withdrawal.
It's not a playoff game. There is no forced withdrawal.
Oh, we're not going to do the forward withdrawal for them either?
No, they can actually have a tie.
Then fine, 3-3 tie.
I think it's going to be a 2-2 tie.
Oh,
all right.
God.
Come on, Jeff. Call a tie of some sort.
No,
1-1.
I don't think it's going to be a tie at all. Like was stated earlier, Vandals Valkyries can just not make a piloting to save their life. But on the other hand, the Flying Tigers also cannot make pilotings to save their lives at certain times, especially when attempting DFAs.
Or charges.
Those are usually consciousness checks he fails.
That's still piloting in form, right?
Yep.
That's so. I do think we're going to see a Vandals Valkyries win, and I think we're going to see it with a 3-2.
Last game of the week is going to be game number 10 of the Petulant Perry's Peripheries Pixies. No, they're Pirates. They're going to get to play against the first administration member who was knocked out of the playoffs, the second St. Ives Janissaries. Brett, you didn't play Galen at all this season?
Nope, not at all this season.
Oh, this is going to be good. You guys have two really good lances. But I would like to say that the Periphery Pirates are going to get a route on you, but I think your Atlas is going to light things up again, then die again. Your Hunchback is going to eat a bunch of damage and die again. But in the end, you're going to win, and it's going to be a 3-2 this time.
So, Pirate is the other white meat at the barbecue, right? I think I am going to have a good time.
All right, whatever you want to go with that line.
Now, I also called this the last episode, too. I'm pretty sure I said, I'm going out, Petulant Perry's is going out, and it's going to be the two of us for round 2 in a non-actual league game. So I think this is going to be... Now, I love me some gunslingers, but his doesn't lose its leg as nearly as often as mine does. Gonna have to go with a 4-2. I'm definitely getting something head capped at some point in time during the game. I'm going to explode something during the game, and I'm hoping it's one of his mechs, though.
So you're calling a 4-2 for yourself, then?
4-2 for me.
Okay.
Well, that's his usual score. I was just giving Galen a little bit of survivability.
Wait, we know the Atlas and the Hunchback are dead.
They gotta die. They're just an automatic.
It might end up being 4-3 if he happens to head cap one of the other two.
I think I'm going to go the opposite of both you two. Not just because it's to be the opposite, but I actually do think that coming off this loss, the Pirates have been stronger coming off a loss in the last, the season. So I think they're looking to bounce back, and I think you're going to see, I think 1 or 2 head caps is definitely a possibility. So I think we're going to see a 4-2, actually a 4-3 for the Pirates.
So, in summary and closing, thank you so much for listening to our quarterfinals? This is quarterfinals. Our quarterfinals show. It was a lot of fun making it and a lot of fun talking to all of you. David, I'm glad to have heard from you during the show, letting us know that you're able to pick up your lance. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday and handing that off to you. Good night, everybody. Have fun.
Another show in the wraps. One more set of playoffs to go, or one more round after this of playoffs to go. Thanks everybody for listening this season, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, thank you everybody, and for our league members, absolutely positively make sure you get your nominations in for our 3 awards: the Phoenix Hawk Memorial, Master Tactician, and the Good Egg Award. We absolutely need your nominations so that we can get those in and get voting and get that wrapped up so that it is ready to go before we have to get to the wrap-up party, and that's running here pretty quick. Look forward to seeing you all next time. Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night and lights out.